Hey, good morning. It's Thursday morning, February 25th. Again, thank you for being here this morning. I want to talk about the excellence of God this morning and the sense of Him being sufficient to take care of us in all situations. Okay, so far so good. Nobody's going to argue with me about that. But where the rub comes in, where it gets difficult, is when we get down to the specifics, the nitty-gritty of everyday life. And one of the things that's happening right now in our culture, in our country, which is invading people, invading the church, invading our sense of security, is fear. We have more and more things to be afraid of. And part of that is because we have removed God from the picture of everyday life. And yeah, if you want Him, He's there, but we don't talk about God in terms of being involved in things, the providence of God, knowing that everything that happens is a direct result of His particular desires and purpose to bring good to His people, us. Look at Psalm 121. The Israelites are going up to worship, and it's a song that begins, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? Well, what the psalmist is saying, your help doesn't come from the hills. If anything, the Israelites, as they walked up to Jerusalem for worship, they were scared to death of the beasts, the robbers, the things that could happen in these hills. So the hills are the source of comfort. So Psalm 121, as they walk up to enter one of the 3 times a year where they've got together in sacred assemblies for worship, God encourages them with these words. My help doesn't come from the hills. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, one who made all these things. He will not let your foot slip. You're walking along this journey. He won't let you slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. You may grow tired. You may grow weary. You may feel alone. Your God never sleeps. Indeed, He watches over Israel. He will neither slumber nor sleep. Your God is always there. He's not like us. He doesn't need sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. In other words, shade's a protective thing. It's a good thing. The sun will not harm you by day, the blistering sun, the attacks of the heat, or the moon by night. And I think a lot of times in many cultures, even in ours, moon is associated with dark things and dark forces. God won't let those touch you either. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your going and your coming, both now and forevermore. You see, God has staked His reputation, His claim that He will care for us. He's put His word on it. Now, someone will say, well, does this mean bad things will never happen to me? No, there's difficulty in this life. Bad things happen to Jesus. Hard things have happened to everyone who has wanted to follow God. But the difference is that God is there in the middle of these things, and even the worst things in life, God can turn it and make it good. So what this psalm is saying to you and to me, is God who He says He is? Can I trust Him? Or do I trust my fear? Now, why should we trust ourselves? And the obvious answer is if we look at our track record and when we're thinking pretty sanely, we realize, no, I don't want to trust myself. My track record's not good. But when it comes to things like fear, we trust our assessment of what to be afraid of, rather than trust what God's word says I should be afraid of. God knows scary things happen in life. God knows that hard things happen in life. God knows that pain happens in life. And what He's saying is, I am there through all those things. This is a psalm. Psalms are designed to be with us. Songs do stay with us. Find music that reminds you and encourages you with the fact that God is always there. There's this one song from one of the refugees of the Richmond camp, and this guy sings this song in tribute to Richmond after he died, and he says, "My deliverer is coming." It's not even a great song in many ways, but the content is there. My deliverer is coming. I think of this guy saying these words with power and conviction. My deliverer is coming. Your deliverer is coming. The God who watches over Israel will never slumber, never sleep. He will hold your hand even in the pain. There's nothing that can happen that God hasn't brought about for our good. Are we going to trust him? We can overcome our fear, not by looking at the ferocity of the fear, but looking at the majesty of our God. Don't let the evil one with his evil tarts and evil intentions and deceptive intentions make you think that your fears are greater than God, because they aren't. Where does your help come from? It comes from the one who made heaven and earth, the one who loves you and knows you and cares about you. And that's the thought for this day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.